2, 1, go. Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back. My name is Caster Sata and I'm joined by Soldra in game number 2 between World Elite and Positive Energy.
Right, and last game we saw World Elite cleanly sweep up or cleanly just defeat Positive Energy in on the heels of Wei Zhao's 5-1-5 performance on Sivir. He actually received the LPL MVP for that game, and here we'll see Positive Energy get a chance at revenge to avenge their Game 1 defeat against a really strong-looking Team WE.
And it's really no surprise to see Wei Zhao take that MVP. He did so phenomenally on Sivir in the AD carry that would be very surprised to see it slip through once again, as we do have Sukim's Gragas banned in the mid lane and Ruo's Lee Sin banned away. So very targeted picks out of Positive Energy. They're trying to turn it around in this game too. But with Positive Energy on that first pick, I'm curious to see what they're going to take away from World Elite, and they are securing Ziggs away from Sukim.
That shouldn't be a huge problem for WE, since there are so many mid laners left on the board that are strong in the current meta, or even the 3.15 patch meta in which the Chinese professionals are playing on right now. Elise and Thresh are two very high priority picks in China, and I'm not surprised to see them go off the board this early.
Elise, very, very powerful, and this is the first time in a while we've seen Elise picked up. It does look like she has I can do math, 40, 80, 90, 89% pick rate in the LPL so far, though I'm certain that it is going to be changing rather soon. Chow Mei securing Thresh for Conan. We're not going to see that Taric dazzle once again, but taking that Thresh away from Tricky Boy should prove to work into Conan's favor.
I would be so happy to see K9s go on that Rengar. He does lock in that Rengar. His Mundo and his TP Mundo just didn't work last game. His teleports, first of all, his teleports were, to be quite honest, pretty bad in general. He had really bad decision making, and in addition, he lost lane very hard to World Elite's Chow Mei, despite even getting a kill on Ruo when Ruo's Lee Sin accidentally pulled in tower aggro during an early top lane gank. Syndra and Renekton are both very good matchups for Ziggs and Rengar individually. This is the problem of picking all three of your carry lanes in the first three picks during champion select. It really leaves you open to counter picks, and that's what we see here from Team World Elite.
It doesn't look like Positive Energy is completely out of their element quite yet, as Vi is on the board for face, and Tricky Boy can definitely lock in that Annie. She did make it through the pick and ban phase and is actually one of the last picks, which is normally something that you don't see, as Annie is very highly valued for her AoE stunning capabilities. It looks like there is a lot of utility on World Elite though, so they shouldn't be too concerned by Vi's fast engage or Annie's AoE stunning ability.
This makes Positive Energy's composition makes a lot of sense, especially in light of what happened last game. So does Wei Zhao's pick, however. So what Positive Energy are saying is that they know how well Wei Zhao did last game and are determined to shut him down in team fights in game number 2. Rengar and Vi are so good, even when they're building tanky, as they usually do in the 3.1 patch. Rengar and Vi are so good at bursting down and assassinating AD carries right at the beginning of team fights that World Elite really has to be careful of not letting Positive Energy's tank line come into their back line. On the other hand, Wei Zhao is extremely good with his Caitlyn mechanics, and you have to wonder whether Wei Zhao will let himself get in a position to be caught out like that by Vi and Rengar quite so easily.
I should expect some solid control out of Wei Zhao. There is a lot of peel, as we do have Conan on Thresh, so we can definitely drop the box and Flay. I'm sure we're also going to see an upgraded sweeping lens to deal with that Rengar Thrill of the Hunt. But this time, Wei Zhao currently on Caitlyn. Caitlyn doesn't have as much mobility. She doesn't have a spell shield to absorb any spells away from Positive Energy. So I expect to see a little bit more counterplay out of Positive Energy, but I think World Elite should be able to deal with it quite handily when the team fights arise.
Usually in games that we've seen in patch 3.15 Sata is the big Rengar will usually build either a Spirit Visage or a Sunfire Cape and then a Bone Tooth Necklace and other damage items in order to facilitate his split push capabilities. However, you have to wonder how well an early to mid game Rengar will be able to split push against Chao-Mei's Renekton, especially since Renekton is so strong before the 35-minute mark. So we actually might see Positive Energy opting out of 1v1 and 2v2 lanes and instead put pressure on Chao-Mei's Rengar, on Chao-Mei's Renekton, so the Crocodile can't get that fed in the early game. But we might see a 5v5 clash right here.
Whoa, a stun catches all 5 members of World Elite. A lot of damage coming out from Summer. No one has died quite yet. World Elite looking like they might secure first blood onto Sukim, and no one else has died quite yet. Rio waiting in the back. A flash from Chao-Mei to try to get forward. He falls to Aluko, who secures himself a kill. Let's see if Summer is going to be able to escape. He dodges the Piltover Peacemaker by flashing, but a great hook manages to catch Sukim. That's going to be JoJo, and JoJo falls in the mid lane at 2-0 in favor of World Elite. Looks like a 2-1 for World Elite, and I don't know that they're done yet, as they are going to be walking past Tricky Boy's on Annie. Tricky Boy takes yet another hit, is denied his recall. What a powerful opening out of World Elite.
And the thing about that was that Positive Energy engaged on the fight too. We saw Tricky Boy flash, stun, ignite the entire 5-man squad of World Elite, yet World Elite were able to kite back and still come out on head by using all of their ignites and focusing down face. It was a really, really good kill, really good series of team play from Team World Elite.
And despite Chao-Mei falling, that is going to put First Blood and the advantage into World Elite's favor. We're going to see JoJo just narrowly get caught by the end of the hook and fall. Amazing, amazing play out of World Elite. That's one of the first level 1 engages we have seen in a very, very long time at high level play. And with a double Doran start, Sukim is going to have a lot of fun in that mid lane against Ziggs.
Syndra is one of the best lane. Syndra and Ziggs both are two of the biggest lane bullies in the game currently in this meta. However, you have to think that with a double Doran start, you can already see JoJo getting low. With the double Doran start on Syndra, Sukim will should absolutely destroy JoJo in lane.
A hook catches Tricky Boy. He manages to throw out a good stun. Wei Zhao doesn't have his barrier, so he's got to be careful when trading with the rest of Positive Energy. Summer is actually coming out just a little bit ahead, but I think that Wei Zhao isn't going to have that much trouble regenerating it back up, as he does have a couple of health potions from his recall. But this is a very aggressive game. Positive Energy, they were thrown for a loop in their previous game, but they're not out quite yet, as we can see them turning on the aggression in this bottom lane.
Right, and in patch 3.15, the early First Blood Gold is mitigated. Was mitigated significantly, as opposed to the early First Blood Gold and the early game gold in Season 3. So it's not the end of the world for Positive Energy, but it would be very nice for them to get an early kill right here.
Wei Zhao trying to catch Tricky Boy, looking like he's going to turn on Summer. Summer does have his barrier. No barrier for Wei Zhao. A good pick. Catches Summer, but Summer's just going to walk away. Very patient, not burning that barrier right away, waiting until the absolute last second. This is going to allow Summer to recall and survive. Actually, a hook going out for Conan. They are going to escape, and Summer, he's got to be careful with both Wei Zhao and Conan shoving that bottom lane. And with the early advantage that Wei Zhao is taking once again, this could spell doom for Summer's Lucian.
Right, and then during that fight, Wei Zhao actually held onto his flash, so he could have flashed auto to possibly get the kill, and it's pretty hard to react with a barrier to a flash auto from a Caitlyn. But, he made a smart move. Here we see another top lane gank.
Aluko going just a bit too far forward, getting ganked by Ruo in the bottom lane. Wei Zhao picks up a kill onto Summer. He does still have his flash too, and Wei Zhao has almost 0 health right now. But he is still alive, and his barrier is on cooldown, and Tricky Boy cannot trade. Again, World Elite securing a very solid early game advantage. 4.5 minutes in, 2,000 gold.
Right, really impressive that Wei Zhao was able to keep both barrier and flash up while Summer did use barrier in the exchange that we did not see in the bottom lane. We did see the fight in the top lane, however, and the really impressive thing was that Ruo's Elise was able to switch between spider and human form and able to alternate all of her skills with auto attacks, which procced her red buff and basically slowed K9's Rengar enough so that Chao Mei could get 2 procs in the slice and dice and eventually pick up the kill. Really nice play all around the map from Team World Elite.
Now we have World Elite picking up a few major items of Vampiric Scepter picked up from Wei Zhao, which is going to allow him to sustain and trade more effectively with Tricky Boy and Summer. Summer forced to buy a second Doran's Blade to lane against this very scary Thresh Caitlyn combination, and we can already see Summer starting to fall a bit behind. 30 farm on Wei Zhao to 20 farm on Summer, and with the wave pushing in Wei Zhao's favor, that's going to further and compound his advantage. In the meanwhile, in the top lane, Chao Mei is doing rather well against K9, currently at 35 farm to 30 with a longsword and Doran's Blade. Summer looking like he might get caught once again. A little bit more trading in the top lane, and looks like the cameraman just can't quite make up his mind what to focus on.
Right. I mean, when there's action going on all over the map, the struggle must be real for the cameraman. See, we just alternated again between the two lanes. You can see that both Wei Zhao and Summer had mana pot. Actually, Summer had 2 health pots, and he just used one. So Wei Zhao has a mana pot, which means that he's not afraid to keep spamming abilities if he needs to do so. You can really see how impressive of a bottom lane, how World Elite's bottom lane is by their way to manipulate the map and K9's expense flash right there, but their way to manipulate the creep wave and completely zone out Summer and Tricky Boy from CSing minions.
And we can see Wei Zhao building an enormous advantage, currently level 5 with Conan to Summer, who is still only level 3. That very high scaling AD ratio doesn't look like it is going to work out rather well. Looks like FaZe coming down to the bottom to try to help deal with that Wei Zhao Conan combination. But in the top lane, Chao Mei and Ruo are continuing to shove that top turret and further deny Aluko's ability to farm. And Jojo looks like he's about to be punished, throwing down a lot of damage from Sukim, who flashes to dodge Jojo, narrowly surviving. Meanwhile, a dive in the top lane. Oh, wow. Ruo secures yet another kill for World Elite, currently at 5-1 right now.
I honestly I have no idea why K9s would go back into the top lane turret. You can see right there, it was only, the camera only focused on K9's Rengar for a second, but he was actually in a side lane brush in that top lane, absorbing experience from all of his minions dying in the top lane to Chao Mei and Ruo. He should have just stayed there. There was no reason for him to go back into the top lane, especially when he knew that both Chao Mei and Ruo had a few damage and armor items and could just easily dive him no problem in the top lane. So really just a huge misplay from Positive Energy, and this game is in fact looking worse than last game, if that can be said at all.
Bro going to hand blue over to Sukim. Sukim already with completed tier 2 Sork Pen boots and 2 Doran's rings, which is going to allow him to trade very favorably with Jojo, who opted for a Chalice of Harmony that's going to give mana regen and magic resist and allow him to stay in lane, try to catch up a bit with Sukim. But again, World Elite, I don't think they're going to let that happen, as they're continuing to compound their early advantage. What was once a 2,000 gold lead, now 4 minutes later, is a 3,500 gold lead, and with Chao Mei going for damage Renekton with his pickaxe, it could very well increase further as Aluko is having a harder and harder time farming in his top lane.
Right. I mean, in the event that Chao Mei does build a Tiamat, Aluko, despite having his chain vest, will have absolutely no answer for a Renekton. For an early item Renekton. On the other side of the map, you can see what Summer and Tricky Boy are trying to do. They're trying to push the wave up as much as they can to force Wei Zhao out of CS, but just seems that they're not able to do it. Tibbers
catches Conan's. The box goes down. It looks like Tricky Boy is going to be forced to flash away. Ace in the hole is not available for Wei Zhao, as it was just consumed, but Ignite is going to force Tricky Boy away from the lane. And that's going to allow Wei Zhao to continue to shove. Face, though, coming down from the Nexus. Looks like he might be able to turn this around, as he does have level 6, which means he can go for Assault and Battery. And yet another dive on K9 in the top lane. Chow Mei taking a few hits, but secures the kill with his Dominus. And it is just looking more and more dire for Positive Energy.
Right, and we weren't able to see the fight on the bottom side of the map, but Wei Zhao actually burned his flash, which would indicate that someone was able to get a good combo on him. So a small win for Positive Energy, but that pales in comparison to the number of objectives and World Elite is getting on the map. World Elite is just having their way right now with Positive Energy. There's nothing that can. Positive Energy has no answer for this Renekton. They have no answer for this Elise, and they're going to have no answer for this Caitlyn that's going to outscale Lucian very quickly.
Ruo catches Jojo out of position. Satchel Charge is going to allow Jojo to escape. Assault and Battery denies the kill. It's repel dodge by Ruo. He does come down to try to pick up the last kill and is able to secure it with the burn from his red buff. Aluko coming in from behind. Sukim very far forward, taking hits from K9. In the meanwhile, Ruo now on a killing spree by shutting down Face, forces Aluko back. It is now 8-1, 6,000 gold, 11 minutes in, and World Elite moving onto this dragon are not going to have any trouble securing it.
And that's the only place that Positive Energy could have fought. I mean, they were in between two towers. At one point, I believe both Ruo and Sukim had tower aggro from the tier 1 and tier 2 middle lane towers. But however, there was a nice flash slice and dice from Chow Mei, and he was able to peel enough for Ruo for him to change back into human form and get his skill shots off. We should see this bot lane going down fairly soon after all of the rotations. Another death sentence onto Annie. I mean, it doesn't look like there's a lot that Positive Energy can do at this point, but we can hope that Face does try to get a small catch, get an Assault and Battery combo onto Wei Zhao in order to take some of the bonus gold from there. But there's very little that Positive Energy can do.
The kill spread for World Elite is rather even. The only person with a killing spree is Ruo on Elise at 304, going for a Spirit of the Ancient Golem, picking up a health crystal, which is indicative of a Haunting Guise to follow shortly thereafter. So I expect to see Ruo continue to compound his advantage, as he has just been phenomenal on Elise so far. His mechanical dive onto Jojo in the mid lane was absolutely exceptional. And a death sentence catches Summer. Here's Ruo following up with a good cocoon. Summer going to fall despite the excellent Tibber stun from Tricky Boy. Let's see if they are going to go for a dive, but no, they secure the turret instead.
The funny thing is about this is that usually when one or two turrets are taken, most teams will want to rotate, but World Elite is perfectly fine with just capitalizing on all of the objectives on the map and farming champions, essentially. They want to extend the laning phase, and they want to make their advantage. They want to push their advantage as far as they can, but it looks like there's going to be a kill on Sukim.
Sukim forced to fight 1v3, throwing out a lot of damage onto Jojo, but isn't able to secure the kill. I suppose this is one way for Positive Energy to turn it around, but in the meanwhile, Chow Mei shoving away in that top lane on Renekton, almost taking an inhibitor turret. Wei Zhao and Ruo shoving away in the bottom, going to take that last tier 2 turret, bringing it to 4 turrets to 0, and a solid 9, soon to be 10,000 gold lead in favor of World Elite.
Right. Fortunately for Positive Energy, inhibitor turrets the health of inhibitor turrets do regenerate over time. I don't know if it's going to regenerate quickly enough for a Rengar to stop a split push from a Renekton, but I guess we'll have to see. As I was saying before, World Elite can essentially take any objective they want on the map. They're not even warding that well, just because that they know that even if they do get caught, they'll almost certainly come on top, unless it's unless it's something like the 1v3 we just saw, where even then Sukim, after using his ultimate on Jojo, was nearly able to take Ziggs out. So things are looking really dire for Team Positive Energy at this point.
Positive Energy doing what they can to try to trade away. Tiamat finally completed for Chow Mei, in addition to a Giant's Belt, which means he's going to be that much scarier when he does decide to activate Dominus and perform whatever objective. So far, we've seen Xiao Mei mostly focus on shutting down the top lane, and that's something that's actually worked rather well, as he has been able to deny a lot of Aluko's capabilities. In the first game, Aluko on Mundo had some trouble getting farm. He was able to build up a Spirit Visage and eventually landed himself a Sunfire Cape, but wasn't terribly effective in team fights, just because of how hard he got shut down by Xiao Mei in the laning phase.
I mean, it's not even. Yeah, it is a shutdown, but sometimes shutdowns indicate that only one lane did badly for a team. In this case, every single lane of Positive Energy just got completely stomped by World Elite. I mean, things are looking very grim. Xiao Mei might have been a little over aggressive, but even then he got the kill onto Jojo.
He finally is able to secure that. The box being thrown down, unfortunately, he doesn't catch anyone,
sandwiched.
but it doesn't matter as Wei Zhao finally gets another kill, and that's going to put Ruo with another kill. In the meanwhile, another catch from Conan catches Summer. Looks like Wei Zhao is going to possibly try to pick up the kill. Ace in the hole goes out. Wei Zhao secures yet another one, bringing him to 5-0, just really securing a solid advantage. No, that's 3-0, and World Elite currently 13-3. That's a 10,000 gold lead, 15.5 minutes into the game, looking like they're going to secure a few turrets off of this.
Right, and I mean, this is one of the reasons why Positive Energy are losing so badly is because of the two early kills that Sukim Syndra got onto Jojo's Ziggs. However, another one of I think that the main reason why Positive Energy is getting stomped right now is because specifically because of Face's play on Vi. Usually, Vi has a very good pre-6 gank compared to a lot of other junglers. Her pre-6 and her pre-6 ganks are really nice, and her post-6 ganks are almost certain to hit.
Wei Zhao caught just a little bit out of position. He's taken low, but looks like he is going to survive. Xiao Mei securing a kill onto Face. Looks like Tricky Boy going to be the next to fall. Elise Repel catches up Ruo. He does secure that one. Aluko falls in the meanwhile to yet another kill for Conan. No one has died for World Elite quite yet, and Jojo is going to be the only survivor for his team.
The reason why that fight looked much closer than it actually should have been was because World Elite had not gone back to buy any items since their last fight, while the majority of Positive Energy had died and therefore had used all their gold to spend. What I was saying before was that Jojo's Vi did not do that much on the map. He looked to try to pull off a few ganks on the bot lane. He never went top or mid, but he looked to try to pull off a few ganks on the bot lane. But Team World Elite just they manipulated the creep wave so well that they never gave Jojo an angle in which to gank and eventually pull off one or two kills onto Wei Zhao and Conan.
I love this item pickup from Ruo. Currently at 508 on Elise right now. I hypothesized he would be going for a Haunting Guise, but instead picking up a complete Locket of the Iron Solari. It's very smart. It shows that he is going to be focused on team play, team pushes, using that magic resist aura and the level-based shield to force objectives. And World Elite currently at 17-3, now 13,500 gold ahead, soon to be 14,500 gold ahead, are in a very dominating position. If they want, they could force Positive Energy to take a fight at Baron, as it did just spawn. And I think World Elite has got the damage to make it happen. Jojo, gets the recall.
Because Elise is a jungler that primarily does percentage-based damage, in her human form she does damage based on how much health opponents have, and in spider form she does damage based on how much health is missing. Even despite the fact that she picked up 2 early game defense items, armor items, she's still really strong right now. This basically shows that Ruo and the rest of World Elite want to finish this game early, and here we see another fight.
Looks like a little bit of a dive as Jojo gets dangerously low. The repel allows Elise to catch up. Ace in the hole, not going to secure the kill. That's going to be Ruo picking that up. Xiao Mei using the Dominus to secure yet another kill. Now with 2 members of Positive Energy dead, World Elite looking like they want to secure something else. Conan did absorb a lot of the damage, as did Ruo. So this does mean that Wei Zhao and Sukim are free to chunk this turret down, and I don't think Positive Energy will have an answer for this World Elite team knocking at their door.
Right, I mean, and you're absolutely right, Sata. There is no answer for Positive Energy from Positive Energy for World Elite. At this point, they need to if World Elite are about to rush a Baron right now, they need to go and contest it, honestly, because even if they try to wait it out, World Elite is too good of a team to let that kind of scenario happen. They're going to pressure every single turret with ease and with confidence. Positive Energy need to try to make a play happen, whether that means, grouping 5 men in a brush and then scaring the rest of World Elite off after getting a pick or getting a kill, or, effectively stealing Baron from right under World Elite's noses. World Elite is doing the smart thing and backing right now so they could capitalize on their inhibitor turret and inhibitor gold before battling it out for Baron. But, I mean, they could still just go for Baron right now, and it looks like K9s and JoJo might be getting slightly caught out right now. Nice flash.
Satchel starts going out. Whoa, a good flash. Dodges the cocoon. Whoa, a humongous flash. And Mega Inferno Bomb finally shut down Ruo. He falls, but it looks like Face might be punished because of it. Conan takes some damage from Summer. He goes down too. Now Wei Zhao picks up a revenge kill onto Aluko. And this is suddenly starting to turn around for Positive Energy. Ace in the hole fired out from Wei Zhao. Not going to secure any sort of kill, but this does mean that Positive Energy isn't out of this quite yet. They're about 15,000 gold behind 20 minutes in, but if they can continue to catch World Elite in positions like that, I think they might be able to turn it around.
However, you also have to take note of the fact that World Elite hadn't spent their money in a fairly long time. Yes, you're right. Positive Energy can do some damage, and if they decide to focus down Wei Zhao, they might have a chance in team fights, especially around objectives like a Baron or another Positive Energy turret. However, World Elite is just getting stronger and stronger right now, and with a Syndra and a Caitlyn combo, they're going to be able to burst anybody.
And if we take a look at the two player portraits, we can see Wei Zhao just sitting there with the edges of a smile on his lips. He is having a fantastic game at 4-0-3 on Caitlyn, just doing a really, really powerful job of securing consistent dominance all across the board. And whoa, looks like this is going to be Tricky Boy caught out by World Elite, and he falls very quickly to World Elite.
All right, and you'll notice if you look at the bottom of your screen that Wei Zhao bought an Infinity Edge. I talked about before the game how Wei Zhao would probably buy that because Team World Elite doesn't have the best wave clear. With that, not Infinity Edge, with the Static Shiv. But with that Static Shiv, World Elite has basically just completely wiped off the rest of their weaknesses of their team composition. With that Static Shiv, they can, and the purple Baron buff that is now surrounding them, they can go and siege these final 2 inhibitor turrets. I believe that they're going to go for this top turret, and they might even catch out a Rengar, but with this step, now the pink ward's really
just
good
being hunted down, flashes over the wall, but gets caught in a cocoon, gets a good leap to the Wraith, but White, but it doesn't look like he is going to be able to escape as World Elite lock him down long enough to secure that kill. That was Wei Zhao securing that at 5-0-3, continuing to exert his dominance from that AD carry role.
If you're not going to commit to sending 5 when you're this behind for Positive Energy, if you're not going to commit to sending 5 members of your every single member of your team to a certain location, you shouldn't be split pushing at all. You should be fighting on a tower and waiting for World Elite to make a mistake. Perhaps Wei Zhao will make a positional misplay. That usually doesn't happen, but it might. Perhaps Sukim will get caught out. At this point, you have to hope for something, not just go out and try to split push by yourself.
And with Sukim waiting in the wings, he actually lands the stun. JoJo gets nuked down. Ignite is burning away, but JoJo is going to escape. In the meanwhile, so too is Sukim, as Sukim is dangerously low. Chow Mei going in 1v3. Doesn't have a problem trading a little bit of health, as he does still have his Dominus. Doesn't have his Dominus, but I guess it doesn't matter when he has his Baron buff and a completed Tiamat. So this is going to be another inhibitor turret falling for World Elite. A 20,000 gold lead 23 minutes into the game, and they could very well move onto the Nexus itself as this next inhibitor falls.
Right, a bunch of most of the members of Positive Energy are going to be up and going to be able to group up for a big team fight right here. But we'll see. We'll see if World Elite can successfully close out the game.
Positive Energy is definitely capable to turn it around in kind, as Thrill of the Hunt is available on Aluko. He is going for a tanky Rengar, so he's not going to be able to get any sort of assassination, but World Elite continuing to siege. A great Mega Inferno Bomb throws out a lot of damage. The Culling catches Chow Mei, but he just soaks that damage, no problem. Flashes to get away from the rest of Positive Energy, taking a few turret hits from the side, and whoa, Ruo comes in from the side, secures a kill onto K9, but still, no member for World Elite has died in this siege, and with the Baron buff, the time in between these fights is going to allow them to continue to regenerate.
Right. One of the problems for Positive Energy during that fight was that they let a turret go down before they engaged. If they were going to engage anyway, they should have fought under 2 turrets, but it might be too late for PE. World Elite looks to close out this game at 24 minutes, and just as you said, with a 20,000 gold lead, that's amazing.
23,200 gold in favor of World Elite, taking the series 2-0 against Positive Energy. Fantastic play out of Wei Zhao. He really had some phenomenal control, and Ruo's presence all across the map allowed World Elite to secure their early game dominance into a very convincing win.
And yeah, you can see the members of World Elite asking for a handshake. They know that they did very well during that game. Honestly, there were absolutely no weaknesses in the World Elite roster. I'm really excited to see how this new World Elite squad matches up against the other top tier squads in China, such as OMG, IG, and Edward Gaming. If the only thing I noticed really about World Elite that might be a knock on them so far, especially against successful top tier Chinese teams, is that Sukim did not have the greatest lane mechanics. So I'm wondering if Sukim faces off against other Chinese mid laners, whether he'll be as successful as he was in this game, especially since China is not a region known to have the most dominant mid laners across the world.
We'll have to keep an eye on this team's performance. World Elite taking that series 2-0, netting themselves a grand total of 3 league points. But we'll bring up the bracket. Actually, we'll put a link to the Leaguepedia bracket. I believe it will be current. So if you're watching this video about a week or so after the date of this tournament, that is going to be, and there are going to be some spoilers. But again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I think that's all of it from us. My name is Caster Sata. You can follow me on Twitter at Caster Sata.
And my name is Soulja. You can follow me on Twitter at SouldraXD. And thank you very much for tuning into this broadcast.
Thanks, guys, and we'll be back.